Oops. Hello, everybody. Welcome to hashtag Love Still Matters. And it does. It still matters to the Lord. It still matters to me. And it still matters to a lot of people. So if you've already read the descriptions of what this series of videos is going to be about, then you have an understanding of what this series of videos is going to be about. And if you don't, please read the introduction because this right now is video 1. And if you want to get kind of like a little bit of better idea as to where I'm coming from, or a little bit of my own, more recent than not experience with racism and whatnot, then you, okay, then you want to review, get my eyes on, under this same hashtag, same YouTube channel, hashtag Love Still Matters. It's all uppercase letters, by the way. Sorry about that. With an exclamation mark. That's hashtag Love Still Matters with an exclamation mark, all uppercase letters. And I just did a live stream a little earlier about more of a personal experience that I've been dealing with regards to systemic racism. And you can watch that and see for yourself what's going on there. And it's titled My Current, and current has little emphasis marks, not quotations, but the emphasis marks, experience with systemic racism. And systemic racism has little emphasis marks in a Texas civil court system, exclamation mark. I'll say that again. That live stream video, my first one, is titled My Current Experience with Systemic Racism in a Texas Civil Court System, exclamation mark. Okay, so getting into this video series on this YouTube channel called A Healing Journey, and it's regarding slavery, racism, systemic racism, awakening, and reckoning. Feel free to look those words up if you want to know their actual meanings. I will be going through some research that I have been doing for quite some time in depth, worldwide research, world historical research, pre the Atlantic slave trade, with regards to the origins of the slave trade, but research prior to the slave trade, and attempting to share that research with anyone that's interested in learning along. Some things I knew and a lot of things I didn't. And that's why I'm very impassioned about sharing that information, because I do believe that communication is key and knowledge is power and healing is necessary. So to get to the healing, we have to communicate and get some knowledge, more knowledge going about this stuff. Like, how did we get here? Not how did slaves get here to America on a slave ship, or what, that's information most people know. It's how did this all start? Who and how and what and where, the who, how, what, where, and when, in a times chronological order. Because what I have found, and thankfully so many people and esteemed, credentialed people, professors, all kinds of spokespersons with many degrees and accolades speak on this topic in seminars and webinars and YouTube channels and videos and documentaries and what have you. And thank God for them and their study their research in depth of this very elongated and very difficult subject, very difficult history for all concerned. And for all concerned is not just the obvious, um, um, myself included, everyone of African descent in some form of mixture that have suffered from this very long and dark history. Um, but for those that are unsure as to what this is all about, just other than words like, well, I know it's slavery. There was some slavery time, and there's supposedly racism, and you know, um, either you're a racist if you don't like blacks, or the really minuscule basics of it. That is not what I have time to put my energy into. This is going deep. And as we go, you'll see more of what I mean by really going deep into the history and knowledge, and um, very fact based. This is not going to be based upon my personal life in every aspect of it, my personal opinion in every aspect of it. If it's my opinion, I'll say that it is. If I am quoting myself, I will say that I am. If I'm quoting someone else, I will say that I am. And I will give you the sources from which this information has come from. And we've got quite a ways to go. So for those who are coming along initially, or those that will come along the way, whether you go back to the beginning, which is this is video 1, and of course the introduction video before this one, or whether you pick up somewhere in the middle, I still hope that you will learn something that you didn't know, and that it will bring about some awakening in yourself of however unfortunate and frustrating and angering and saddening, some form of acceptance of learnedness of history, and of where we are now and where we are trying to get and where we hope to be. And those of us that just desire to feel better about our humanness and our combined humanness, not just as Black persons of African descent, or people of African descent. This whole black crayon box thing kind of gets on my nerves, but our joined humanness of where we are and where we like to go. I've set these up in 30-minute increments, so you will hear my alarm clock go off, so that it's not an on and on. We can kind of keep it in 30-minute increments. If I find that it needs to be shorter, then I'll update everyone on that and set the clock accordingly. Because I would like to, knowing that everybody's busy and has other things going, I would like to give enough information, but not so much that I keep you tied to the screen. You can just stop, and that's the end of that section, and we can kind of move on to the next. And I do appreciate you, and God bless you. Okay, and now that with that, I've taken up, I don't know how many of the 30 minutes, but let's get going. You can, if you're following along with me and you want to do more than just listen, you can get a pen and pad out and take notes so that you can do your own research in your own time. And I'm going to give you some sources so you can look those sources up and see to it that, you're being given factual information. I'm not going to get up and take time away from the video, since we're already into it, live stream, and the clock is already ticking, to cover up the laundry basket and whatnot. Anyway, y'all know, right? I thought that was under control, but it's okay. I'm a regular person. All those esteemed people I talked about with all the accolades and all that great stuff, that people, they have a name and connections and people know who they are and all that. Well, I'm not one of them. Okay. And I'm looking down because I have notes, a lot of which I will be reading from. I know the camera's up top. Oops. I turned you guys off. Now you're back on. So I'm going to try to, keep looking at it. And if that clock goes off before I can even get going good, well, at least I'll get all this part out the way, right? Video one, none of the information I'm supposed to be disseminating, because it's just so important. And the times have been, they've never been just great. But the times now with a pandemic, worldwide pandemic going along with it as well, the times are just really, really, the hurricanes that have hit and are hitting the coast, the Texas and Louisiana. I mean, it's just, a reason for thanking God, a reason for prayer, a reason for um, mourning the lost loved ones, for the different reasons. The One of the most prominent issues is the killing of Black men, and or this recent paralysis. I mean, you're killing a young life. How can that's not living to your fullest, if you're going to be disabled to that degree. So that, and COVID losses without funerals, or maybe Zoom funerals, and hurricane losses and evacuees, and just on. So I'm not the most important. This at this moment, this YouTube channel isn't. This information is important, but it's certainly not more important than living souls and lost souls and people mourning. It's just not. And that is not the impression that I ever want to give. Okay. So I'm just going to get started before the clock goes off on me, and then I'll just go into video two. All right. First, I'd like to say hello and thanks to all viewers, especially those who are interested in coming along this journey towards enlightenment and healing through learning, grieving, acknowledgement, acceptance. And I don't mean acceptance of like, okay, it is what it is, so we have to accept it. Don't get that twisted. I don't mean that kind of acceptance. Acceptance and positive solutions. See, I don't hear enough of that. Positive solutions, believe it or not, for a brighter future stemming from a dark past. Second, I highly recommend, I think I've already said it, that you watch my introduction video dated August 8th of 2020 and read the description of what these videos will show and detail, so that you have a better understanding of their content and the hopeful journey to healing over subjects as difficult as these are. So let's go. And let me look at my clock. Just kind of cheat a little bit. Okay, 8:23. I've got 7 minutes. All righty. I wanted here are some sources that I'm going to start out with. So, pen and paper folk, or because it's being recorded, here we go. Look up, it's E like egg, N like Nancy, wikipedia.org, .wiki, WIKI. I'm sorry, it's .org/wiki/history of slavery. Now that EN dot, if that doesn't work, just start with Wikipedia. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/history/of/slavery. Another source, Etymology Online. That's spelled E like Edward, T like Tom, O like Oreo, M like monster, O like Oscar, L like Larry, O like ostrich, G like girl, and Y like yippee. So that's ETOMOLOGY online.com. Etymology Online. Another one, medieval, like the medieval times, like some of these, shows that, are back in the medieval time. Let me just spell it for crying out. M like Mary, I, D like door, I, E, V like Victor, A, L like Lisa, medieval, and then E, L, B like boy, E.com. That's medieval, E, L, B like boy, E.com. Then there's History Today, that's lowercase letters, it's all together, no spaces, historytoday.com. Historytoday.com. All right, looks like there's one more, but I can't even understand my own note. So we'll move on from that one. I'll go back to it. Okay, I want everybody to understand as we start going into this, many of you do, many of you don't, what an indentured servant is or was. There shouldn't be anymore, but what they were. And they were British manual laborers. What the indentured servitude status was it was a servitude contract of one's own free will. So people that entered into these contracts, and it was generally it was certainly not slavery. They were generally treated greatly different from slaves in slavery. It was generally a 4 to 7 year contract, and they were considered free persons, free persons, and certainly not as slaves with no choice and bad treatment. And it was usually to pay for passage, mostly ship travel, voyage to somewhere, room and board, very poor people in a lot of cases. It was very low wage manual labor. There was some usage of it for criminal punishment. Instead of hanging, you could say, okay, fine, I'll go and do this servitude to pay off debts, some type of indebtedness to someone. Okay. I believe the time is just about to be up. So, because I wanted to start out with indentured servitude, I will prepare to stop because that is going to be an important word as we go forward, as so many other words will be, but that one's going to be important. Important to note, important to understand. Okay? And what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and stop just a little bit short so that I can prepare video number 2 for us to go ahead and dig in. Okay? And thanks for joining.